But now you talk to Mitch McConnell, and he's fine, but he won't talk to the governor. His office won't put out any kind of video from him or anything like that. Look.
Chris Cuomo set his sights on Scott Jennings once again. And if you've watched their exchanges before, you already know there is absolutely no love lost between the two. Cuomo appears to have very little patience for Jennings, and plenty of viewers seem to feel the same way. Jennings has built a reputation as one of the most divisive and polarizing political commentators on television, and this latest controversy only added more fuel to the fire. The spark this time was Jennings' claim that he personally had a 17-minute conversation with Mitch McConnell, a story that immediately raised eyebrows across the political world. A lot of people simply are not buying what he is selling, and now Chris Cuomo is publicly challenging that version of events. There is a lot to unpack here, and I want to break it all down and share my own perspective as we go through it together.
Developing story, Senator Mitch McConnell. Hey, Scott Jennings, so let me get this straight. Biden couldn't be damaged enough, couldn't be brain dead enough. 25th Amendment, he's not making any decisions. Everybody else is a shadow government. Remember all that shit? But now you talk to Mitch McConnell, and he's fine, but he won't talk to the governor. His office won't put out any kind of video from him or anything like that. Look, I don't wish Senator Mitch McConnell any ill. I've been through what he's dealing with in my family. And obviously, his time has passed, and you know it. But you don't want to say it for one really stupid, callow reason. You don't want to lose a seat. That's all that matters to you. And let me tell you something. If it turns out that Senator McConnell, it's time for him to retire, which is long past due, and you'd know that if he had a D after his name, and you were saying that everything's okay right now, then you are everything you said you oppose. Okay? And people are going to come for you for it, and they should.
Before I dive into my own reaction to Chris Cuomo's criticism of Scott Jennings, I want to first show you exactly what Jennings said during his appearance on CNN, because that is really where this entire controversy begins. His comments quickly spread online and sparked a wave of skepticism from viewers who questioned whether the story added up. This is the claim that has people talking, debating, and in many cases outright rejecting what they heard. So it is important to look at Jennings' own words before getting into the larger conversation surrounding them.
Spoke with Mitch McConnell today. What did you talk about? What did he say?
Yeah, he called me this morning before I did my radio show. We talked for about 17 minutes. You know, he talked a lot about the situation with Iran, talked a little bit about Ukraine and what's going on in Europe. I told him I'd been to the Teddy Roosevelt Library. We talked a little bit about the history of the vice presidency and how Roosevelt had transformed that in the modern presidency, a little history of the Senate. I mean, it was a wide-ranging conversation. I talked to him often. I hadn't talked to him since he'd been in. I'd gotten a few text messages from him, but I hadn't spoken to him. So it was good to hear his voice. Voice sounded strong and sounded like he was keeping up with the news to me.
Did you ask him how he was feeling?
Yeah, he said he was feeling okay, obviously well enough to call me on the phone and obviously well enough to talk to Barrasso and Thune. Now, look, I'm not qualified to discuss any medical issues or give you any information about that. That's really for him or his staff to do. But, I talk to him from time to time, and I see him from time to time. And, we had a conversation today about the things that we normally talk about, which are news of the day, political stuff.
Before anything else, I want to hear from you in the comments, because this is the big question at the center of the entire debate. Did you believe what Scott Jennings said? Personally, I did not find it convincing, and judging by the reaction online, a huge number of viewers felt exactly the same way. Since making that claim, Mitch McConnell's team has responded by releasing a photograph from the hospital, along with a statement insisting that he merely lost consciousness and that there was no cancer diagnosis, no stroke, and no heart attack involved. Yet even with those assurances, skepticism has not gone away. Many people remain unconvinced, and Chris Cuomo argued that the reaction says a lot about the role politics plays in situations like this. According to Cuomo, the issue often comes down to party loyalty more than anything else. Mitch McConnell carries an R next to his name, while Joe Biden carries a D, and for many political commentators, that distinction changes everything. Critics of Jennings argue that his entire political approach revolves around defending Republicans while attacking Democrats, regardless of the circumstances. If a Democrat is involved, it becomes a scandal. If a Republican is involved, it becomes something to explain away or minimize. Jennings himself has suggested that Republicans have strong incentives to hold on to McConnell's Senate seat and avoid any scenario that could lead to a special election or create an opportunity for someone outside Trump's political orbit to step into that position. Those who oppose Jennings see him as part of a larger strategy designed to protect Republican political interests, whether that means appearing on CNN, debating on major panels, or shaping public narratives in ways that benefit his side politically. Because of that reputation, many critics believe Jennings would have little hesitation in defending questionable claims if it served a broader political goal. Questions surrounding McConnell's health have only intensified the controversy. Some people believe the public deserves greater transparency regarding the health of elected officials, especially when those officials hold powerful positions and may be unable to carry out their responsibilities for extended periods. This has reignited discussions about age limits for members of Congress and the presidency, as well as proposals for regular, independent medical and cognitive evaluations conducted by impartial experts rather than personal physicians. Supporters of those ideas argue that physical and mental fitness should be regularly assessed, regardless of political affiliation. Cuomo's criticism of Jennings was not really about medical policy, though. His argument was that Jennings' primary role is political defense and message control, rather than objective analysis. Critics claim that whenever Republicans face criticism, Jennings responds by redirecting attention toward Democrats, or by framing the issue as partisan hypocrisy. Whether people agree with that assessment or not, there is no denying that this style of political combat has become increasingly common and increasingly effective. Some observers have argued that if the situation involved a Democrat who had disappeared from public view for months while dealing with health concerns, Republicans would likely be demanding immediate action and pushing aggressively for replacement procedures. That belief has only intensified accusations of double standards in Washington. Cuomo has made it clear that he believes Jennings should eventually answer for these claims, if they prove to be inaccurate. Whether that accountability ever arrives is another question entirely. Many viewers doubt CNN would remove Jennings from the air over a controversy like this, especially given previous clashes and heated moments that did not result in major consequences. Critics point to past incidents involving Jennings that generated headlines, but ultimately changed very little about his role on the network. Because of that history, some people believe this controversy will simply fade away without any meaningful repercussions. Still, the questions remain. Are viewers convinced by the hospital photo and official statements? If McConnell is alive and recovering, is he still capable of performing the demanding responsibilities of his office? Those concerns existed long before this latest story, and have resurfaced repeatedly following previous public health scares and moments where McConnell appeared to freeze during public appearances. More broadly, this debate has reopened conversations about whether politicians in their 70s and 80s should continue holding some of the most powerful positions in government. Some argue for a retirement age around 65, while others support a slightly higher limit, such as 70. The United States already has a minimum age requirement for the presidency, so supporters of age caps argue that a maximum age should also be part of the conversation. They point out that many industries have mandatory retirement policies or strict health requirements for high responsibility positions, yet some of the most important jobs in government have no such restrictions. So now the question shifts to you. Are you siding with Chris Cuomo in this dispute? Do you think Scott Jennings will ever face consequences if these claims turn out to be false? Or do you believe the political and media world will simply move on to the next controversy? And beyond all of that,